it's Chef K and I'm back. Right now we about to make some smothered turkey chops. I love turkey chops. Turkey cutlets. You can take a turkey breast. I like it even sometimes when you go to the butcher's market and they keep a little bone in it, make you feel like you're getting a pork chop. So I don't eat pork chops anymore, but I love turkey chops, and I got these right here. I actually got a turkey tenderloin roll, and I actually cut them into chops myself. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna season this flour. I have some oil over here, so I'm gonna season some all-purpose flour right here. I don't know about you all, but when I deal with flour, I really don't like it when the flour is you know, clumpy. You know, I like smooth flour, so what I do is I always keep a little whisk on hand, and so I just whisk it up just to get out. Even when I'm making bread or anything, I just whisk it up just to get like some of the clumps and stuff out of the flour. Sometimes I use cornstarch, or I use a combination of both. But I'm just gonna do this real quick like this. I've already seasoned my meat for the sake of time. You all can season your meat with what you desire to season it with. You can put some poultry seasoning, some paprika, some salt, some pepper. You can use white pepper, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, whatever you want. But the star of the show today is this better than bouillon, okay? I love that one. They got it in beef, vegetable, herbal, different formats of it. So now that I have whisked this right here and got my flour a little bit more smoother, I'm gonna go ahead and take the time to season it. Right here I have some slivered onions because I do like onions to cook down and give it that nice flavor. It's very flavorful. I'm just a person that likes onions or shallots or garlic. I have some cornstarch right here. I will be using a little bit of this flour and the cornstarch, and you'll understand why, because this flour is going to be seasoned, so this is going to make a nice delicious gravy along with that better than bouillon. Okay, so I got me some gloves because y'all know how I feel about touching meat. If you don't know, you'll come to know. So I'm just going to go ahead and use some garlic powder. Well, I'm just going to use a little bit of garlic powder. You guys can measure to taste, as long as there's nothing in here like sometimes I use egg powder when I'm doing certain things, but as long as there's no, you know, anything raw in here like egg or anything like that, you can taste your flour just to test your seasoning. I always add in my salt normally last on certain things, and sometimes I put it in first because I would like the salt just right where it is, but sometimes adding the salt after the fact livens up the flavor. Well, this right here is a soul food seasoning, and it's just a regular soul food seasoning by Food Line. I like it. Okay, so what I'm gonna go ahead on and do, I got a little spoon here, and I'm just gonna go ahead on and go back and forth with it, or you can whisk it up, and I'm just gonna taste to see where we're at. I know some of y'all saying that's crazy, but when you get used to doing it, but I want y'all to get used to tasting your stuff. Don't be ashamed to taste your stuff. You can taste it. It don't have any egg in it. If I had egg powder in it, I wouldn't taste it. But I just want to see where I am before the salt, just to see if all of the seasonings, if they culminated well within my breading blend. So I'm used to making bread, my family is. And okay, I can taste some things. So I know which seasonings I need a little bit more, and it's all of them. So I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna add a little bit more of this onion powder. Not gonna overpower too much with these seasons, because that's better than bouillon, and a little broth and make that gravy is gonna be good. Add a little bit more paprika. Plus, I don't use too much of the darker spices because I don't want my chicken or turkey chops or whatever it is I'm cooking, I don't want it to come out too dark. So I'm gonna add a little bit more of this right here, like that. And I'm just gonna add just a little bit of salt because that's high in sodium. You can get a low sodium one too, but that's kind of high in sodium. If you really want to know how it's mixed, go ahead and take your whisk and whisk it on up, because that has a little bit of salt element in this. It has salt in it. So I'm gonna go ahead on, and you can see the herbs and spices, but sometimes it's deceptive. But I've been making breaders and stuff like that for a long time, so I'm just gonna go ahead on and do that. And I do know that I'm gonna add just I wouldn't touch my hand like that if I was making it for you, but I'm at home, okay? So everybody don't come for me. And I'm just gonna use some salt, because it needs some salt. I can taste all the flavors of it, but I'm gonna use some salt. Y'all know salt brings stuff to life. So that's just about much salt I'm gonna use. which was probably like a little over half a tablespoon. All right, so starting to wake up. So I'm gonna put that other half a tablespoon in there. But remember, the meat is also seasoned. So that's a good thing. But just need a little bit more. Just a little bit more salt. And you'll be able to taste all of the flavors in this breading. Okay? So I already know it's there because I've been doing it for a while. So I'm gonna make sure my oil is nice and hot, y'all. So and it's mixed well. This seasoned good because this right here makes some good gravy later on. So that's seasoned good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take these and go ahead and bread them up, and I'm going to let them rest for a minute. All right, y'all, so I'm adding these in and not overcrowding it, a little bit at a time. And I'm just tossing them in here. I'm making a mess too. But I'm just tossing them in here. Y'all know, y'all want to always shake off the excess because we're going to do smothered. So the reason why I don't bread these too heavy, like I'm frying them, eating them as fried chops, is because we're going to have that gravy as a component too. So that's another layer of starch. So y'all want to make sure all the little nooks and crannies and stuff like that is seasoned, you know, all the way through. So just do a light pat, but you also want to shake off any excess. So y'all know, just think of it like this. Y'all know sometimes when y'all get a wing, in the elbow, you like, they ain't put enough flour right here. You like that crunchy part of it, so you want to do that. But y'all want to shake those off, and I have a little plate here, and we're gonna just let these rest before we cook them up. And my meat is at a certain temperature where it's not too cold, so it will fry nicely. So you don't want to do it, you want to just let it rest. And the reason why we let it rest because we want the coating to be able to stick. We don't use any eggs. Some people use eggs. Sometimes, like I said, I might use an egg powder in some of my stuff. But even if I had an egg powder, it would have been the egg would have been fully cooked and powdered. So you want to shake off any excess, and we want to just let this rest. Okay, that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to continue to bread these up, and I'll let you know when we're going to go and put them in the pan. So let me get the rest of these breaded up, and I'll see y'all at the frying pan. All right, so we let them rest, y'all, and now we're about to add these on in. Let's go on and put them in there. Y'all hear that? That sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And you don't want overcrowding in your pan, okay? You don't want overcrowding in your pan. So I'm just going to put about 4 of them in here, and then I'll just cook the other ones because they tend to shrivel up or curl up. I might can get the other ones, but I want to see what it's doing first. I don't want overcrowding, so these are some thinner ones, so I might can go ahead and get these in. Remember, even if your meat is at temperature where it can be cooked, you don't want to overcrowd for a couple of reasons. You want everything to cook evenly. There's another spot right there. Y'all know how y'all mama did. She fit that chicken wing up in there when she know she was overdoing it. But this is a big pan. It's pretty deep, so I'm gonna go ahead on and I feel confident I've been doing it, so I can go ahead and put these in there. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and let these cook. I'm gonna get stuff out the way, and what I do is my fire is at about a medium, and so I want these to crisp up, and so I love the hex clad, or I love this is a Swiss diamond pan. You can turn the dial to let steam trap in and out. So I'm gonna go ahead on and put this up there and let those go ahead on and fry, and so steam can be released out of there. So I'll go ahead and let this fry, and I'm gonna wipe my stove down, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna take out the turkey cutlets, chops, whatever you want to call it. Ooh. That one got on my nerve. I had a little water on my hand that fell in there because I washed my hands. But I'm going to go ahead on and get that in there. And I want y'all to pay attention to the cooking oil. All right, y'all, so right here, y'all can still see some remnants of the oil in there. With a little dredge in there, little crumbs, all that good stuff. It's gonna make a good gravy. I took a lot of that oil out because I don't like all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw these onions in there. Throw them onions in there. I'm kind of frying the onions in there. And it's getting up all of that goodness of them crumbs. All of that stuff that you see around the side. It's gonna be good for the gravy. I'm gonna get just a little bit of this here flour from when I made it. And I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of that flour. Or maybe a tablespoon and a half. All right. So I'm gonna keep on doing this. And y'all see it's starting to get like a little thick. The star of the show. Who's the star of the show? Better Than Bouillon. Yeah, so that's it right there. They do have a low sodium one, and this is made with roasted chicken. Okay. So what I am going to do is I am going to add about a tablespoon of this. I'm going to add a tablespoon and a half, maybe. And I'm going to go ahead on and add some broth on over here. Oops. My hand ain't pouring too good tonight, y'all. But as I'm going, I'm going to go ahead on and add some broth. I've been doing it for a while. I would add, for that amount, a couple of cups of broth. And I want some gravy and put it over some rice or something like that. So y'all can already see. Because I wanted to cover, I wanted to be enough. For those of you that's never done this before, make sure y'all scrape them sides and get all of that goodness, because that's a part of your gravy. For those of you that have never done this before, you see now we have the broth in here, and we also have the bouillon base, which bouillon base does thicken. But we're using this slurry with the cornstarch for a reason, to make this gravy even thicker. And we're getting all of that fat from when we fried the turkey cutlets. You're getting the taste of those onions that fried and roasted down. So, and then remember, this is a roasted bouillon base. So this is all the seasoning you need. I guarantee you, if you had a spoon, you can just taste it, or just, you know, taste. Oh my goodness. It's just how I remembered it. Yeah, I'm silly. And I'm also sleepy. So, remember I told y'all about this slurry here? This cornstarch and water. That right there. We're going to go ahead on and pour that on in there. And y'all going to see the difference. See, it's loose now. But let's check out this difference. Now, if you're worried about whether or not this is going to change texture, it will. It's going to thicken your gravy. But if you're worried about if it's going to affect the taste, it won't. Now look at that. It's already thickening. Do y'all see it? It's already thickening. Look at it. It's already thickening. It is gravy. So I'm going to go ahead on and grab these chops. And I'm going to go ahead on and put them back in there. They're nice and crispy. Look at that. Put this over some basmati rice. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, people will love you for this gravy. They're going to love you for it. And I like to take it and turn it once. That's just what I do. All right, I have forks and I have knives, and it's time to eat this delicious turkey chop, smothered turkey chop with basmati rice and a homemade gravy. So, okay, I can't eat it all by myself, but I'm gonna do a little something. Y'all ain't gonna see it, but here you go. Here you go. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace and blessings.